Hi everyone, Savage Nation bringing you another Death from Above member shoutcast. And I'd like to talk a little bit about our clan and the reason that we put up this YouTube channel and the reason that I'm doing these shoutcasts. Our clan is basically an Xbox Battlefield clan. We do have a Company of Heroes branch that some of our Battlefield members are playing this game as a, I guess, side game, and I wanted to help them along a little bit with my knowledge of the game. I am not a pro, a shoutcasting pro, or anything like that. I am a level 10 player, and I wanted to help them along a little bit, and a little promotion for any of the new players with Steam coming out with their keys to the game with a sale, and there has been a rather large interest in the game. So any new players that are looking for a clan are more than welcome to apply. We do ask that you have a basically mid-level skill set in the game, and we are more than willing to have you guys look into the clan. So I know that most of the clans in the game replays arena are basically have a lot of high level players. We do have the majority of mid-level players in our clan, and if you do fall into that area, we'd more than welcome you to apply. We are a laid back bunch of guys that play for fun. We do take the game not too seriously, but we do like to win. We are more interested in a good-natured person that easily gets along with others. So if you're interested, give us a look, and that is a little synopsis of why I'm doing this and what it's all about. Most higher level players will find this probably rather boring and whatever, but this is the reason I'm doing it. So now let's get on to the replay. I'll be unpausing in 3, 2, 1, unpause. 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And today we have DFA member Dnhilos playing as the US in the north of Angleville, and he will be facing FerdinadSS as the most hated PE in this patch. So now at the beginning I will give you a little bit of knowledge about, or my knowledge of Angleville. Let's turn this around here, and we see that Angleville is, in my opinion, one of the most balanced maps in rotation, and you will see most of the games being split right down the middle along these hedges, with the northern player focusing basically on the left side of the map and the southern player focusing mostly on the right side of the map. These two strat points here and here are extremely important for each of the sides that are going to hold that side, as if you can disconnect them, all these high munis and fuel points will be disconnected from the player, denying him the most important thing of the game, resources. So anyways, we do see that we have a few buildings here. We do have a building protecting this strat point here, and this map is pretty good for the Americans as far as it is kind of wide open, and flanking is great on this map. And so now we do see that we have a minor skirmish with a rifle squad and a PG squad, not upgraded with the rear 43 shot, and neither is this squad. And I find that rather unusual from the Panzer Elite player that he has not upgraded his first or second squad coming out. And now the rifle soft retreat. And we do see that the Americans have gone for a Jeep as their second unit. Not very often do I see that. It's usually the normal 4 rifles into the rifle stall for the quick M8. You see that the Jeep will head for this Kettenkrad, which, if he can dispose of that Kettenkrad, it will hurt the PE player enormously, as PG squads are notoriously slow at capping. So now I'm not really sure why this Panzer Elite player has put his 2 PG squads in there. They are made for fighting. They need to engage these riflemen. And from that building, they cannot do that. So now, Captain Cred has been chased off. See that engineer squad being chased off by the PG squad, and the rifles and Jeep are engaging this PG squad. And they are down to 2 men. And now with the rifle squad in close, they will be doing even more damage, and this Jeep cannot do anything but help. And there goes the PG squad retreating. And the PE in this patch, everybody seems to complain a lot about them being OP. Not so sure they're OP, but they are definitely much better than they were in the previous patch, and it will require some different kind of teching and less mistakes made by the American player, because they can make you pay for mistakes. And capping under fire rifle squad, not a big fan of that. Now the rifles will engage this PG squad in the house with the Jeep. This PG squad needs to get more involved. And this PG squad is in danger of going down. It does. And now the Americans have done enough damage, and they will retreat. Now we see that the Americans right away have put up an OP on this high fuel point, and that will only get their light armor out quicker. So now this strat point becomes very important for the PE player to try to decap. Anyhow, we do see that the supply yard is up. We do see that the Americans have gone with 2 rifle squads, 2 engineers, and a Jeep for their initial build order. PE player does have very good map control on his right side of the map. Again in this house with a PG squad, he must really like the view out of there. Don't know why he's in there. He needs to be out. The Americans head for the PE player's strat point to cut him off. But there is a PG squad near. See if he does try to chase him off. And he has been upgraded with the Guerrero 43, so the rifle squad will, he will jump in the house. Another rifle squad moving in to help out. PE player decides the fight is not worth it there, but this will really hurt him if the Americans can decap this point. And we do see the camp group company up, infantry half track out. This Captain Cred being abused by the Jeep. And no, do not leave if you're that close to decapping that all-important point. Now the Americans have been chased off the strat point by the infantry half-track and the Guerrero 43 squad.
Our supply lines are being threatened.
And motor pool going up for the Americans. Americans with great map control on the left side of the map. Infantry half-track forces a retreat from the decapping rifle squad on the high muni point. So, a little bit about the players. Dnhilos, I know, is a very good mid-level player, level 10, 11 in all of the factions. FerdinadSS, the last time I checked, was a level 9 player. Not many games under his belt, but being level 9, you would think he'd have a better grasp of how the P needs to be played, and I see that, in my opinion, he's trying to play it more like the Americans, with single squads running around. That really will not work versus the Americans. He needs to keep more units together. You do see that the Jeep is pushing them off the capping of the all-important strat point of the Americans, and now 2 rifle squads and a flamer. Incendiary grenades tech from the headquarters of the Panzer Elite, and they are chased off by these 2 rifle squads, and flamer engineer with a jeep in support. So other than that, let's see what we got going on here. We do see that the M8 is already on the field being upgraded. 7 minutes, very good for the Americans. The Panzer Elite player is in bad shape here as far as he has no anti-tank or anti-armor of his own on the field here, and he's going to have problems with this M8. And again, a PG squad in this building. They really should back off here. They don't have anything to fight this M8 with, and he's just going to pick apart these PG squads, even this one in the house. So I'm not really sure unless he's just trying to stall the Americans. And we do now see the Panzer Support Command going up, and some anti-tank half-tracks will be on the field. Another M8 coming out on the field soon for the Americans. And unnecessary losses by the PG squad in the house. They should just probably back off a little bit now, down to 1 man in danger of going down. Infantry half-track moves in, but this M8 will keep him off of the infantry of the Americans, dealing out some decent damage on this infantry half-track, and now blocking him with the other second M8 coming out on the field, and this infantry half-track is going to be killed. You see that they did manage to decap this point, but the Americans are now back in force. I do see mines here. I'm not sure who laid them. Let's see, it could have been rifles or the engineers, as the Americans have decided to go infantry doctrine. Not a big fan of that against the P myself. I prefer the armor company doctrine for the late game Calliopes that absolutely rape PG players or PG squads. A light anti-tank half-track on the field as a counter to these M8s, but one will not be enough to deal with these 3 M8s that are on the field. The Americans recapping on the right side for the points they lost. M8s will chase off this PG squad, and the infantry half-track is not really doing much of anything. He moves in, but facing 3 M8s, he will be not long for this game. Now the PG squads come in, but they don't have any anti-armor weapons, so they will be of no help. And there goes the anti-tank half-track, and here comes another one. Horrible unit preservation by the P player at this point. And this anti-tank half-track also is not long for this game. And once he is gone, these M8s will absolutely annihilate these PG squads. So now we do see that the Americans have started capping the right side of the map, and this P player is in bad shape. You see any repairing going on by these engineers? Yes, they do. Much rather have seen them start repairing this one, as it is the lowest in health, and backing off his M8s. And now we do know that defensive operations has been attacked, as we see these little icons over the PG squads while they're in the base being healed.
Enemy unit down.
And really, there is no answer for the American light armor on the field for the PE player. So this is a very good example of how players of similar levels, I'm not really sure if FerdinadSS is really in Dnhilos' skill level, but they did get matched up in the auto match, which is not always perfect, as we know. But you would think at level 9 he'd have a little bit better idea of how to play the PE. And now we have a nice comment of spam spam. And the Americans now are claiming the entire right side of this map, and that is death for the Panzer Elite player in this match. Do now see a tank depot has been or is being built in the American base, and when the medium armor comes out without any anti-tank defenses for the PE player, will put the final nail in the coffin. I really don't even think he needed it this time. Kind of low health rifles capping and decide to retreat. Great move. Another proper move if you want to call it. And now we do see that we have an upgraded Panzer Grenadier squad with a Shrek, but one Shrek squad is not going to be any match for this light armor from the Americans. See, we'll have free reign,
is waiting to get go.
and I don't see any way that Panzer Elite player can come back from this. No, not at all. He has basically no resources coming in. Probably, I think he'll have +10, and I won't need the mini-map after this, so we'll switch over. And yes, no muni income and a +10 fuel income. So this game is basically really over now. We'll talk a little bit more about the game, I guess. And we do have off-map how we shoot on these Panzer Grenadiers, and they don't see it, or they're stubborn and they are blown to bits, as we see pieces of Panzer Elite players or Panzer Grenadier squads all over the field. But yeah, this game is basically over. It was over rather quickly. I did choose to shoutcast this game, as I said before, as we do have some of our Battlefield members buying the game on that Steam sale and looking for a little help to get started. So this is one of the reasons I'm showing this match, as it is a good way to get started against the PE, showing they are not invincible like everybody seems to believe. They are definitely a much tougher faction now in this patch than they were before, but they are still really glass cannons on the field with their armor until they get their either Hetzers or their Panther battle group out. So now the Americans have total map control. There's really nothing that this P player can do. Even with this Panzer Jaeger command up and Martyrs most likely coming out next, the Panzer Elite player has no resources, and without unit preservation and resources, you are definitely going to lose your games. And now we see an M4 Sherman on the field, an anti-tank gun, which I don't believe he even needed, as I can't see the PE player getting anything else on the field. An M18 being built. So basically it's just a matter of time now for the game to end. It does have another like 6 minutes. Panzer Elite player has gone tank destroyer, so I would imagine we'll see a Hetzer as his last gasp at trying to do something in this game. But now here comes the American armor with a base rush, and here comes the Martyr. I'm not even going to comment on the map hacking accusation. This Martyr is not long after he finishes off one M8. The Sherman will take care of him. Takes a couple Shrek shots. Eliminates the Martyr. Now works on this Flavorling. Get rid of that. Earn some vet for it. And now really there is nothing this P player can do. We'll just really say good game and leave. But he is a stubborn man. He decides to hang around, and the Shrek squad doing a bit of damage on the M4 Sherman. really
the
much
ante.
more to talk
Production
about
is now
here.
at double time.
Now, is this PG squad going to try to reclaim this +5 fuel? Because right now he's only at +5. And what do we have here? Upgraded and cloaked M18 Hellcat.
The enemy stands at 300 points.
Shrek squad eliminated, and now I think maybe, and there I hear a Hetzer, and there it is. Really, this Hetzer is no match for an M4 Sherman, M18 Hellcat, and an anti-tank gun, and being supported by an M8 for a little extra firepower. We're going to see an M8 mine being laid, but the Hetzer wisely backs off. And we have, I believe, one Hetzer and one PG squad left for the P player. So just really prolonging his agony in this game. So let's talk a little bit about this to start by the another Howie off-map shoots, chasing the repairing PG squad away. Hetzer gets out of the way. This is one of the reasons I'm not a real fan. He does get a nice hit on the Hetzer. That's why I'm not a fan of the infantry doctrine. I guess you could go for Rangers to handle the Hetzers, but I really prefer the armor doctrine versus the P in this patch. Anyways, let's talk a little bit about the Jeep as the second unit out from the Americans. It really did a nice job of harassing the Kettenkrad, and there goes the Hetzer. Flavorlings are down, and now we will just see a base rape by the Americans. Anyways, back to the Jeep. It was very well played by the American player, harassing the Kettenkrad. I never seen where he even lost it. I'm not sure if the Jeep took it out or what. Another Hetzer on the field. Working on the M4 Sherman, M18 with a couple hits. He goes down.
They have 200 points left.
Now, just this one Hetzer and this one man Panzer Grenadier squad, and this replay should be over very soon. Most likely after the Hetzer goes down. Back to the Jeep. Yeah, I liked it. It's viable. I mean, the players were of similar skill, I believe. And there is a triple vet M4 Sherman. But I don't really know much more to say other than the P player really had poor unit preservation and a good game from Danny and a little bit of a laugh from the P player. And so, you know, I really can't comment too much about anything other than you've seen a strat that is viable. It was used against similar skill P player who really played the Panzer Elite, as I have not seen it played by too many guys in this patch. But I hope this helps anybody that is a lower to mid-level player, not to be so, I guess you could say, taken by the P in this patch, with everybody saying how OP they are and everything. Like I said, they are definitely a much tougher nut to crack, but they are beatable. And if any of the guys that are watching this, I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next shoutcast. Talk to you guys later. Savage Nation out.